Welcome to Reading Reyes. Let me go live over here. Um, let's go. I'm gonna type real quick. Reading Reyes. Reading time. Okay, cool. And then I'll just edit that video. I'll edit. All right. And 3 and 2. Welcome to Reading Reyes, day 3 of the Modern Art of War by Hunter Laguare. I don't know. Some Frenchy. It's a little Frenchy name. Sun Tzu's Hidden Path to Peace and Wholeness. So this book is for anyone that wants to master their mind, okay? So we're going to start right off the bat. Today is chapter 1. I know it's day 3 of reading, but it's chapter 1. So we're going to dive right into it. Chapter 1. Laying plans. All right, so it starts with numbers. Here we go. We're on if you guys have the book, page 19, we're starting today. We're going to read the whole chapter. Chapter 1. Number 1. Sun Tzu said, "The art of observing the mind is of vital importance to the self." Number 2. Attaining a unified self is a matter of life and death, a road to either safety or ruin. Number 3. When battling for union of the self, there are 5 principles that should be taken into consideration in one's deliberations in order to reach oneness with the source. 4. They are the moral laws, heaven, earth, the general, method, and discipline. Number 5 and 6, or it should better said 5 through 6. The moral law or way causes a student to be in complete accord with their higher self, so they will follow it regardless, undismayed by any danger. By allowing the higher self to rule, the body will be in accord with the self and not fear anything in the sea of earthly worry. Number 7, heaven, yin, or the higher self, must be in balance, so the student can achieve awareness, just like just like night balances day, or cold balances heat, and the times of the seasons balance one another. Number 8, earth, yang, or the ego, or lower consciousness that perceives the body as a form, will undergo many obstacles, some great and small, and others that will change its sense of safety and make it unstable, since it will not readily give up control. Thus, the student must be dedicated. Should you master the disquieted mind, you will usher in life for the united self and death to the ego. Number 9. The dedicated student, the general, on the path of wholeness will find virtues of wisdom, sincerity, benevolence, courage, and strict strictness at their command. Number 10, method and discipline are to be understood as one's ability to marshal the army of senses and desires into the right places, and also with maintaining one's vital energy through the roads into the body, which supplies one's consciousness and controls how much vital energy is expended. The student who endeavors to practice will be disciplined to overcome their desires and control their senses. Number 11, these five senses, sight, hearing, taste, smell, and touch, should be familiar to every student. The one who knows how to control them will be victorious. The one who does not will fail. The student who continues to give in to earthly desires derived from the senses, an example, taste, which can lead to gluttony, will not reach wholeness. Oof. Number 12, I woof because I'm fucking type 2 diabetic, dude. And one of my goals for 2025 is to eradicate this bitch. I want to heal my diabetes. I want to conquer it. I want to eradicate it. I want to reverse it. And it's been my biggest challenge. I will have completed 1 year of no alcohol on January 26th of this year, 2025. 1 year. And it's been easy as fuck. But carbs and sugar, fuck. Damn, dude. Like, when they compare it to heroin, when they compare that shit to cocaine, they ain't lying. But we're gonna work. That's why I like those who don't master their senses, don't discipline, don't give in to them. You won't reach wholeness. It's what it's saying. That got real. Number 12. Therefore, in your deliberations, when determining the path to attain awareness, consider the following questions in order to be successful. A, which of the two, the higher or the lower self, is imbued with the path to peace and wholeness? B, of the two, who has more ability to succeed? C, which is more in balance and therefore has the advantage when obstacles arise? How can you bring your mind, thoughts, desires, to a state of balance? D, on which side is discipline most rigorously enforced? E, which side is more highly trained? F, which side shows a greater ability to remain unchanged, especially when it comes to rewards or penalties? I mean, come on, dude. We fucking know it's the higher self. The higher self's the answer. The higher self's the answer. And if you see me looking this way, because I'm going live on Instagram, so if you're on YouTube, thank you. But I'm trying to do two things at once. For you Instagrammers over here, I'm looking this way because I'm shooting a YouTube video. This whole thing will be up on my YouTube channel. Link is in the bio on my Instagram. Link is in my bio. But you're already on YouTube, so you don't need the link. And subscribe. That'd be very sweet of you if you subscribed. Subscribe, don't just watch. 13. By means of these 7 considerations, the student and teacher, because yesterday's reading, remember, the teacher lies within. So the student is also the teacher. Can forecast the mind's victory or defeat in attaining oneness with the source. The way I read that is, the source to me is our higher self, because that's what's connected to source, God. So if we become one with the higher self, we can literally predict, we can forecast our victory or our defeat. If I give in to my lower self, I'm going to lose. If I follow the guidance of my higher self, I'm going to win. That's what it's saying. Number 14, the student who hearkens, I don't know what that means. Hey, Instagram, what does that mean? Hearkens. Hearkens? Hearkens. I never seen that word before. Number 14, the student who hearkens to the teacher's counsel, intuition, and puts it into practice will conquer the self's delusions of form. This type of student should maintain control, but the student who doesn't follow the teacher's counsel, intuition's counsel, or put it into practice will remain in a state of delusion and non-awareness of their whole self. They must regain control. So from what I'm gathering, reading up to rule number 14 or guidance number 14, it seems like the higher self is also the intuition. The intuition is being referred to as the teacher. So if your intuition tells you to do something and you follow that counsel, meaning you trust your intuition and you execute based on your intuition, you're going to be pretty solid. When you dishonor your intuition and you go with whatever the ego is saying or the mind's saying, you're fucked, is what I'm gathering. Number 15. Above and beyond intuitions / teacher's counsel, if you have knowledge of your own weaknesses, let it be known that you might also conquer them. So if you're aware of your weaknesses, that means you can beat them, that you can conquer them. If you're unaware of them, then it's going to make it difficult because you don't know what to fight. You don't know what to overcome. You don't know how to battle it because it doesn't exist because you're unaware of it. Number 16, equally, if you're not making progress with your practice, modify what you're doing accordingly. 17, all warfare of the disquieted mind, the battle to break or ascend the illusion of the earthly realm, is based on deception. The lower self, earth, will attempt to deceive the higher self, heaven. This is a simple point, but important, as many people who start upon the path to inward peace grow restless and bored. The body, with the help of the disquieted mind, will find more exciting things to do, thus deceiving the self from seeking wisdom. I fucking dig how they're referring to heaven and earth, right? The lower self is earth, dirt. The higher self is heaven, because it's like when you do the lower self, you get dirty. You eat shit. When you honor the higher self, you're literally chilling at God's bonfire, enjoying your peace, enjoying your wholeness, enjoying joy, enjoying beauty, love, harmony, fulfillment. I really dig that. Number 18, hence, when able to practice, an example, observe the mind, we must seem unable or to do so without striving. When using our force, the army, we must seem inactive. When our forces are near, we must make the enemy, conscious thoughts, believe we are far away. When far away, we must seem like we are near. To attain awareness, one needs to find stillness of the mind. The battle is in focusing the mind to a place of equanimity, a hard enough feat. The teacher, intuition, knows that the body will resist, and so the still mind must be vigilant and steer clear of the pull of the senses. I'm going to read that one more time. It felt a little complicated, so I'm going to go in it again. So the previous one is regarding the senses, not giving into the senses, understanding that if we give into the lower self, the attempt deceives the higher self. Like they're at war, basically. Earth is at war with heaven. Our lower self is at war with the higher self. So it's constantly trying to deceive it. It's trying to trick it, which is why, like, if the higher self is your intuition, your teacher, your guide, and you don't honor it, this is why, because the lower self is usually up here in the mind, and it'll give you, like, you ever get that intuition? Like, you get this gut feeling like, yeah, you should do that. You should go work out. And the mind's like, dude, come on, dude. It's fucking 5 a.m, dude. Let's just sleep for like 2 more hours and then we'll go. And you're like, all right, this fuzzy blanket's pretty cool. I don't need to do something until 10. And then all of a sudden it's 8 o'clock. So 7's gone. And you're like, oh, shit. Fuck, it's going to be 10 in 2 hours. We could still do it. We could still go. Let's go. Yeah, we could, but let me make some coffee quick. All of a sudden it's like, shit. Fuck, it's 9. Damn. And that's how we start falling into these weaknesses. Like we don't give into this, So that said, that's 17. 18, I'm going to read it again. Hence, when able to practice, an example, observe the mind, we must seem unable or to do so without striving. Meaning, when we're observing the mind, it's like, whatevs. Okay, I see what's happening. Like you're not trying. You're just allowing. When using our force, now you're trying. You're launching the army. We must seem inactive. So even if you're deploying the army, chill, 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 like you're not deploying the army. When our forces are near, we must make the enemy, our conscious thoughts, believe we are far away. When far away, we must seem like we are near. To attain awareness, one needs to find stillness of the mind. The battle is in focusing the mind to a place of equanimity, a hard enough feat. The teacher, intuition, knows that the body will resist, and so the still mind must be vigilant and steer clear of the pull of the senses. So if I think of meditation, for example, I'm just chilling. I'm being mindful of my breath. I'm And all of a sudden, I could have an intrusive thought. I could get this desire to eat something. I could be hungry all of a sudden. My senses are going to try to get me to stop going into this peaceful place. And most of us that have experienced trauma, that have experienced hardship, we can't chill because we need to control everything, because that makes us like believe this illusion of safety. This false sense of control provides us with this false sense of safety, although it feels like real safety, but it's not, because all we can control is ourselves. And just think about that, how difficult it is to even control the mind, to master the mind. Most people won't even try meditation because I just keep thinking. Well, in transcendental meditation, the first thing they tell you is allow your thoughts. The brain is going to do what it's going to do. Your thing is you don't have to surf every thought. You don't have to surf the wave of every thought. You just don't have to. It is a choice. So you just allow the thought. All right, cool. Conscious thought just came in. All right, that was ugly. We don't have to go into the consequence of seeing it as ugly. I don't have to. Let's just keep breathing. This is why transcendental meditation, or like the Buddhist way of learning how to meditate, is breath work. Basically, you're just, all you do is follow the oxygen going into up in your nose, and then the carbon dioxide coming out. And you want to know how powerful it is? Right now. Close your eyes. Come on, close your eyes. And take 3 deep breaths through the nose, out the mouth. Ready? And just all you do is follow the oxygen and follow the carbon dioxide. Oxygen in, carbon dioxide out. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Now, did you not feel your nervous system calm down a little bit? Did you not feel your mind quiet a little bit? Just chill out, just a little bit. It went down, didn't it? Yeah, it did. It's the power of breath. Let's keep going. 19. Through vigilance of the mind, the student can overcome the delusion of the earthly senses. Do not give in to fighting with the body / senses, for they will most certainly win. The enemy is the self. The teacher, intuition, advises the strategy of tricking the self into being still, thus gaining awareness. So, tricking the body to thinking it's still, which is why that other one, number 17, is like, just pretend like when you're far away, pretend you're near. When you're near, pretend you're far away. When you're thinking crazy thoughts, pretend like you're not thinking any thoughts. You're literally conditioning yourself to learn how to be still. And when you achieve that through practice, you'll gain awareness. Because it's that noise from the senses, from the thoughts, and you constantly attaching yourself to that thought or feeling the consequence of that thought or giving in to the senses. That's what distracts you. And then all of a sudden you're fucking 3 Jack and Cokes in, you got your fucking 5th Paloma, and now you're buzzed and you're not aware of shit, right? Like you're totally unaware, the opposite. But when you sit still, sober, not giving into your senses, not giving into your desires, you can sit with yourself. And at one point, all of a sudden, you begin to see what you've never seen before. your true self, your authentic self. Oh, let's keep going. 20. If bodily senses are strong, be prepared to falter. Do what you must to avoid acknowledging the self. 21. Do not shun your emotions, such as anger, but sit with it so that you can understand it, conquer it, and move on. Furthermore, if you grow aggrieved or arrogant, you should avoid action and remain still. This one is huge. It is the difference between loneliness and solitude. When you're feeling the fear, the sadness, the depression, do not escape. Sit with it. Go into solitude and sit with it. You will fucking learn so much. And if you sit there long enough, meditate on that feeling, feel that feeling, you might even discover the original incident that gave life to the belief that generated the thoughts that then gave life to that feeling you're feeling. It'll reveal itself. One of my biggest epiphanies was 2020. After I got caught cheating on my girlfriend Liz, I was in love with Nazareth, and I'm on the fucking floor. It's the day I got to move out of the apartment, and I'm on the fucking floor crying like a little baby, boogers. And I get this Quentin Tarantino style time lapse where all these original incidents are coming through, because I was alone in that apartment. I was alone with my pain, and I was feeling my pain like I've never felt pain before. To this day, that might have been the most painful moment I've ever sat with. I mean, I'm fucking fetal position on the ground, boogers coming out. I'm feeling everything. And it was almost psychedelic in how everything revealed itself. That's the power of being able to sit with your feelings and not run away from them, not numb them, not hide, not bypass. And you can't be a pussy about it. Like, you got to fucking do it. 23. Well, I didn't do shun. As for strategies to conquer. Okay, I'm just going to go with 22 because I don't know if I read it or not. As for strategies to conquer your desires and senses, be vigilant and do not allow them to gain a foothold. Separate them from other emotions so that they are easier to unravel, understand, and overcome. 23. Additionally, use the time when you are not Additionally, use the time when you are not risen to or affected by high emotions or desires to investigate them and move to a place where they do not control you. Meaning, so feel your fucking feelings, sit with them, and once you're not angry anymore, once you're not sad or depressed anymore, then explore those feelings. Just explore them. Well, why was I mad? What was I really feeling? What triggered it? What happened? Okay, like that. You know what I'm saying? Let me read this real quick. Someone wrote something. Oh, what's up? Oh my God, that's how everything revealed itself for me too. Best thing. That's what I'm telling you. Yeah, that's right, Jasmine. That's how it does it. You got to sit with it. It will reveal itself. Because our vessel is so wise. But this thing, and look, this is fucking, I think, purposefully taught to us. It's a disconnect from our spirit. Society, all the constructs, all the systems disconnect us from our divinity. TV, alcohol, sports, drugs, fucking, All of it disconnects us from source, from God, from our higher self, from our intuition. It clouds us. Liquor, known as spirits, literally a demon will go into your fucking vessel. You chug a demon and then you wonder why you acted like a piece of shit, or why you were crazy emotional, or why you had no emotional intelligence, or why you couldn't fucking drive, why you almost hurt somebody or did hurt somebody. This journey, once back to spirit, all the answers reveal themselves. We just have to be patient to reconnect with our source, with our divinity. That's why God, at least for us Catholics and Christians, that's what God, tossed us Jesus. Hey, look how it's done. Look how it's done. They're going to go against you. That's what happened to him, right? At 13 years old, something like that. They went against him, kicked him out. Because what did he do? He meditated on it. He sensed it. His intuition told him, hey, we don't need church. We don't need a priest to talk to God. We're directly linked. And the church, which depended on the people believing that they needed the church and they needed the priest so that they could collect the 10% of their income or collect some fucking money to get paid, was like, oh, hell no, fuck this kid. And they kicked him out. And what did he do? He went on a spiritual journey. He went on a spiritual journey up in the Himalayas, hung out with the shamans, hung out with the gurus, and came back what? Whole, peaceful, compassionate, unconditional with his love, full of empathy, no longer in the mind. Didn't give a fuck what society said about him and how he loved on mankind. He didn't give a shit. That's what they don't want. That's why they don't want us to talk to people in China. For that one day, I joined Red Note. How cool was it over there? Like, I want to go back because they're so fucking cool. What's up, TikTok refugees? Don't worry. Well, you're welcome here. We love you. We love you. Dude, let's have a good time. Let's party. They were all about it. All about it. Right? And they're over there like, hey, nobody's homeless over here. We all can afford shit, even the poor people. We don't get taxed over and over, property tax every year. What are you talking about? You only get taxed one time here when you buy the house. Then there's no more taxes. They don't pay registration fees every year. That's why the system doesn't want us to connect with the world. Because when you realize that in Romania, for example, it's all peace and love. That's why they won't allow NATO to build an army base there getting ready for World War III. They won't allow it. They want to remain peaceful. And that's why they can leave out their furniture. They can leave out chairs and tables and no one will steal them. Because we can live like that. There is no homelessness. It doesn't matter if it's an apartment or a house. They have places to live. So there's no vagrants in the streets. I'm in downtown Long Beach right now. Crazy people yelling out there, homeless people all over the place. Mindful. Back to spirit. Let's go. We're almost done with this part. 24 through 25. Oh, no. Let me go to 23. Additionally, use the time. Oh, no, I already read that. 24 through 25. It is the role of the teacher, intuition, to guide the student, conscious mind, through the levels of reaching the self's awareness, inner sun, knowing beforehand what challenges are to come will turn the weak student away. In order to reach victory or equanimity, the student should focus on the present moment and not worry about the past or what is to come. 26. Now, the student who makes many calculations before the battle is fought will win out over the disquieted mind. Likewise, the student who makes few considerations will lose. You can foresee already who will be successful and who will not be. It really is simplifying. Listen to your intuition, honor your higher self. Listen to your intuition, honor your higher self. Always be a student. That's basically, in a nutshell, what this is telling us so far. All right. Interpreting the living wisdom of Sun Tzu. We're on page 23. Sun Tzu is asking the committed student on the hidden path to peace and wholeness to consider the importance of understanding the difficulty involved in attaining freedom from the disquieted mind. The reader is provided with 5 principles that, when put into practice, can assist the willing warrior to embody a deeper sense of their inherent intuition or oneness with the inner sun. As we make this connection with our all-seeing awareness, we immediately begin to see changes in our day-to-day life. Though Sun Tzu warns about the immediate obstacles that we'll encounter once a commitment to the path is made, the more we plan for those obstacles, the more we can measure your success. Be vigilant and steadfast. Boredom and restlessness can overcome the beginner at the onset of making changes. Anticipate the urge to push too much or be harsh and dictatorial, and take the soft approach. In so many words, Sun Tzu is asking us to be aware of the body's needs and the mind's restlessness, and not to punish ourselves for either. We should let the sense emotions come and go without a struggle, rather than letting them rule you. This, to me, is such a fucking powerful part. It's in alignment with radical acceptance. Earlier, I coached somebody. If you haven't seen it, you can go to my Instagram. It's alive. And I coached somebody. And she lost her business, is considering ending her relationship, needs to find a place to live, was getting intrusive thoughts of suicide. And my guidance, part of it, was love yourself right now. Accept yourself, accept what's coming through, be with it. Accept yourself radically. When you do that, the mind does calm. The nervous system settles. Anxiety begins to dissipate. The restlessness kind of starts going away. When you just radically accept yourself, using the Q method, compassion, unconditional love, and empathy on yourself. Be compassionate. You're a human being. It's hard to be a human being. Be unconditional with your love. If you can't do it, no one else is going to do it. This shit's vibrational. If you don't fucking love yourself, no one's going to love you. If you're unconditional with your love, you will attract unconditional love and empathy. And that, to me, out of all 3, is the most powerful one. Because empathy, only you can give you max empathy. I can't. There could be another 45-year-old Salvadorian dude who grew up without a dad and got molested at 8 years old and abandoned by his biological father and was bullied by his stepfather and felt all sorts of ways about life and got challenges. And I still couldn't fully empathize with him because he's an individual. He is his own soul, his own higher self. And although I can relate and I can empathize, I can't 100% empathize. Because although we share in the titles of the things that might have happened to us, the way it went down is completely different. Guaranteed. Because the people involved were completely different. Even though we went through the same subject matter, the same topic, it's totally different. Radically accepting yourself opens the door to awareness. If you love yourself unconditionally, you can see yourself. Someone fucking calls you ugly. Just take a look. Am I ugly? And if you are, fuck it. That's beautiful to me. I'm fucking beautiful. And it might take you a while, but you fucking tell yourself every fucking day that you're beautiful. That's why you see couples where one is ugly and the other one is gorgeous, because that ugly motherfucker is beautiful somehow. And that gorgeous person sees it, feels it. They don't see ugly. They see beauty. And that's why they're there. Shit's vibrational. It's energetic. Don't be dismissive of that. Next part. Lesson 1 through 4. The quest for inner peace and wholeness. On the path of self-mastery and wholeness, Sun Tzu explains the student's commitment is a matter of life and death. In theory, once the self is attuned to the intuition, intuitive knowledge, intuitive knowing, there is no longer a boundary or separation between the perceptions of dual thinking. An example, good and bad, hot, cold, life, death. The once selfish mind is recalibrated without the seesawing effect and can experience peace, making our decisions, choices, and purpose much easier to understand and trust. By preparing for our journey to wholeness, symbolized by a formal commitment, we're being asked to not waste time and to immediately establish strategies that will clear or empty the battlefield of the mind. If we do, we can alleviate our inner suffering. An example, fear, worry, distrust, paranoia, failure, that cloud our discernment in daily matters. As our perceptions shift, we are no longer ruled by disquieted emotions, but are given to experience inner peace. So I want to share something. And this is crazy because this is now the second time it comes up today. In the coaching call that I mentioned earlier, I shared this with her. And I haven't shared it with many people. I shared it with my co-authors of my book, or well, my team that's helping me write my book. But what I did with God. So right now, that little piece of this book talks about making a formal commitment. A commitment to the journey of the acquisition of peace and wholeness. Now, in my journey to fulfill my purpose, I made a contract with God. I wrote a contract to God. I wrote a contract, the contract, and I signed it at the bottom. Contract. I wrote it out. And I backed it up with a promise to God. And I signed it at the bottom. A promise to God. And I signed it at the bottom. Because no matter what, I will not die without fulfilling my purpose. No matter what. No matter what. No matter what. And to me, that was one of the scariest things to do. I had never done it before. So I wrote out a promise and a contract with God. Commit. Commit to your peace. Commit to your healing. Commit to the best life you could fucking live. Commit. It matters. It really does matter. Let's keep going. But take notice, Sun Tzu warns that this path will lead either to safety from cyclical existence or to ruin, rebirth. Lesson 2, 5 through 11. Oh, I think these are, let me see. Okay, I don't know what that means, but we'll get there. Lesson 2, 5 through 11. The 5 principles of self-mastery. Sun Tzu's core teachings in the preliminary chapter are broken in 5 principles of considerations of self-mastery. The moral law, heaven, earth, the commander, method and discipline. Each is meant to help the initiate on the hidden path to peace and wholeness to get started. Remember, this is the start of the journey, figuratively. A time when we make a personal commitment and lay plans so that we can be successful and realize our full potential. Each of the 5 principles focuses on balance and harmony. Although war and all its components are used as symbols, we're actually cleaning the battlefield of the mind to give peace and harmony a foothold as a natural state of being. So long accustomed to noise, distractions, constant chatter, and movement, we begin to evaluate our mind and see how it operates moment to moment. In doing so, we recognize that our normal state is actually stillness of mind, tranquil peace, and harmony, and therefore we can act more direct and assured in our daily affairs. Sun Tzu's first principle is the moral law, or the path we undertake that reestablishes our ability to hear that small, soft voice within as the highest truth, or the constant knowing. Our intuition is designed to teach the student warrior how to relinquish fear in the daily lives, especially in the disquieted mind, which will automatically create resistance and try to flee by avoiding practice and training and quiet. Consider the strength of the enemy, our perpetual thoughts and perceptions, which have always been dominant and will now come under attack as we take up an approach to unlearn all our formal behavior, habits, and patterns. It will not surrender easily and will do much to deter the student warrior from being diligent and steadfast. Since our inner awareness is pure and all-knowing and exists unimpacted by our thoughts or emotions, it can be harnessed as our natural state rather than being ruled by imbalanced and uncertain emotions constantly impaired by exterior circumstances. We are essentially going to take up a practice to unlearn all our former behaviors, habits, and patterns. Sun Tzu explains that we need to let go of fear to bring this unity about between higher and lower consciousness and create balance without the interference of perceived outside distractions. We're not trying to destroy our thoughts, but to allow our natural state of peace to become our ruling state of experience. In doing so, our individuality, our specialness, no longer hinged by the unpredictability of emotions, becomes more in tune, and we begin to live from our inherent purpose and pure knowing. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I dig that so much. What's hitting, y'all? What's hitting? Let me see. Let me see what's happening over here. Let me see. Let me see. What you done say over here? What you done say over here? I did similar. I did similar. However, mine was a promise. Oh, okay, okay. The contract. Okay, promise, replacement, and fulfillment. Replacement until the day I am so grateful for the outcome of it. All right, beautiful. All right, all right, cool. I love it, Miss Danny. Thank you. Good job. It ain't easy. It ain't easy being greasy. Okay. Where we at? Okay. The second principle, represented as heaven or yin, explains that awareness is born out of our ability to keep our yin nature or conscious awareness in balance as we engage in daily outward activity. First, we need to reorganize a quiet mind. First, we need to reorganize. A quiet mind is our natural state and allow it space to gain a foothold. In doing so, we begin to tap into our felt sense, that internal compass that gives us the go ahead. If you ever just know to do something and did it, like taking a different route to work, and later learned you avoided a delay, then you've experienced intuitive knowing. Imagine having that knowledge with you all the time, which we do. We have it all the time. I don't know why I want to go that way, but I'm just going to go that way because I'm going to go that way. All right, cool. Sun Tzu is suggesting that we can achieve this union by not giving our thoughts, like doubt and worry, the main stage to the show of our daily activity. Instead, we allow thoughts and emotions to pass without question or hindrance and give room for intuition to solely guide us. To get there, we need to trust and prepare a quiet mind as our natural everyday existence. The third principle is earth, yang, and represents the ego or lower conscious, the perceived that perceives the body as a form, which does not want to give I like how it emphasizes that it's not just the ego, but it's the ego that perceives the body as a form. Why is that important to distinguish? Why do you think it's important to distinguish? It's important to distinguish because the ego remains connected to the human, and we're more than that. We're actually spirit before we're human. We're a soul. We're a higher self. We're a spiritual being. We're divine. The human vessel is just a vessel. So the lower self, the ego, only gives a fuck about the vessel, which is why the ego always stays trying to keep you alive, which means please don't change or you're going to kill us. So where was I? Okay. Okay. Let me just start that part again. The third principle is earth, yang, and represents the ego, the lower consciousness that perceives the body as a form, which does not want to give up control or its perception of form. Most of the resistance will be felt in the material realm as soon as you start to practice, meaning you're undertaking awareness to no longer be led by your thoughts and senses. The self will not feel safe. It will feel like it is heading toward oblivion or death, but you can persevere. Sun Tzu says the result will be eternal life for the united self or consciousness, which is what I'm telling you. And this is the hard part, like a lot of us have criticized other people. Dude, they know better. They're smarter. Why did they do that again? We're fucking judgmental and critical. But it's very dismissive of the fact that we don't understand how powerful their ego is, how much in control their ego is, which might have been in control the fucking second they were traumatized when they were kids. And it's never relinquished control, because from that moment that we were traumatized, our ego took over to keep us alive and to keep us from feeling that kind of pain ever again. So although the ego can be the enemy because it's suppressing our divinity, our peace, our harmony, what we really desire, from its perspective, it is literally our guardian. It's just protecting us. And when you don't do what it says, even if what it says is go fuck that person, or go drink that drink, or go do that drug, or go betray that person, or go lie over there, even if it tells you to do that, don't work out, eat that junk. Even if it tells you that, it's doing so because it thinks that that's the way you're going to stay alive, because that's what's gotten you there since that traumatic moment. You picked up things, and as you pick them up, the ego's like, oh, we do cocaine now and we're still alive? All right, cool. Let's keep doing cocaine. And we don't have to think about all this shit that causes pain and suffering. Awesome. Let's just numb ourselves. That's the power of the ego. And so when you're busy judging, like you could just see a child that's traumatized, hasn't woken up, and the ego is still in full control. And if you have that level of compassion and love and empathy, you're gonna feel the peace. And then energetically, you're gonna share it with them. And that might be all they need to wake up. Because they know they show up like a piece of shit, and then you show up with love regardless. And they're like, that doesn't make sense. I showed up like a piece of shit, and you were kind and loving to me. This doesn't compute. And all of a sudden, they're looking inward, and they're exploring themselves. Powerful stuff. Sorry, I'm live on. I'm recording on YouTube. I can't go live, so sorry for that request. All right, let's go. The commander, or fourth principle, represents the one who sees and witnesses the battle and seeks to be the guiding force for two minds, intuitive and ego, to reach a state of harmony that will usher in wisdom, sincerity, benevolence, courage, and strictness at the at the at their command. This will in turn usher in order and victory, or in this case, self-awareness and oneness with all creation, the constant knowing. The fifth principle is consider, I'm sorry, the fifth principle to consider is method and discipline. The tools that allow the student warrior to bring ultimate balance, unity, and harmony with their senses while also maintaining their vital energy, which supports conscious thought. The more the student practices, the more experienced they'll become with exploring the strategies, and the more likely they'll lessen the risk of failure. Sun Tzu's approach is methodical because she anticipates how the student can fail, and implements a technique to bypass failure in the hope that the student will continue on to victory. Lastly, in laying plans, Sun Tzu reminds the student warrior of the power of the five senses: sight, hearing, taste, smell, and touch. If we can't control them, we're bound to fail. As we make a formal commitment and begin to implement the exercises Sun Tzu provides, we must recognize that the senses, which can trigger emotions, will need to be mastered to reach self-realization and awareness, or non-duality. Mastering here implies understanding and softness, as opposed to suppression or hardness. Another helpful word is surrender, since we allow our thoughts to pass unrestricted, or we might surrender a habit, which might create a feeling of passive or weakness. But it is very much a choice and a command, one given freely rather than force. Essentially, we're relinquishing the hold our emotions, thoughts, and senses have, or what we will do and how we will act, in favor of working with intuition as our highest authority. For example, if you would like to relinquish the control a particular food has on you, your senses or emotions will create a war in your mind by indicating that you're giving up something or going without. Take a moment to investigate why you believe you're giving something up in the first place. Oftentimes, we can discover the origin of the habit and uproot its control. Why do I feel attacked? Why do I feel attacked? I just got done talking about how hard it is for me to quit sugar and carbs and stuff, and I'm doing really good, but it's still very difficult. And look at that. It calls me out. Gives me an example. Likewise, pain and illness are other experiences we cater to with negative language and a lineage of fear. We've deemed them bad or something. Oh, that's such a good perspective. So true. Shit. Okay, I'll get into that thought in a little bit. We've deemed them bad or something to rid of. Like, Didn't I just say a couple seconds ago? I'm gonna fucking destroy. I'm gonna fucking get rid of diabetes. Like I'm at fucking war with it because it's the enemy. That's the energy I had earlier in the video. Remember that? Crazy. And so it's calling me out again. Damn you, Hunter. Okay. I'm sorry. Let me start this. Let me start this again because I feel like so seen right now, vulnerable. Likewise, pain and illness are other experiences we cater to with negative language and a lineage of fear. We've deemed them bad or something to be rid of, since both are concepts constructed with negative associations. But in fact, they are ideas we ourselves decide, perceive, and create our reality from. And so they can be changed, shifted, or neutralized to free us from the way they can imprison us. Oh my God. Okay, let me finish this last part. Ultimately, mastery over the enemy, our thoughts, senses, then prevails by asserting an unmovable will, as we shall see in more detail, that need not be aggressive or hostile, but discerning and firm. Bro. Okay. I'm just taking a look right now because I want to see where chapter 2 begins. Okay, we still got some time because I might just stop right here because we've been reading for a little while. How long we been going for? I can't tell. But it's been a little bit. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to stop here. 27. Okay, yeah, I'm going to stop here. I'm going to stop on page 6. We'll pick it up on lesson 3. This last part, though. In other words, it's reframing. But in order to reframe, I need to be aware of how I framed it in the first place. Is it rooted in a negative? One of the pieces of advice I give my clients is that minimize the literal language that you use that is rooted in the negative, that's rooted in the negative. Meaning, instead of, for example, I can't wait to see you. I know it seems harmless, but say, I look forward to seeing you. What I did earlier had the energy when it came to my diabetes, how I want to get rid of it, how I want to fucking kill it. I want to reverse it. I want to, it had that energy like it's the enemy. So energetically, I have an enemy within me. I have poison within me. And so, although I think that I need to see it that way to conquer it, to fight it, to go to war with it, I'm also recognizing an enemy within me. And in doing so, I'm giving it some power to poison me more, to hurt me more. I'm opening myself up to that. And what Sun Tzu suggests is that I do not do that and don't treat it as something bad or something to rid myself of. To be mindful that first become aware that is the perspective I have and that I have control of how I perceive it, of how I think about it, of how I dedicate myself to healing it. And that could change everything. So I look forward to tomorrow. For any of my live people here on Instagram, join me. I'll be back tomorrow. Don't know exactly what time. But if I have an idea at some point in the day, I'll post it on a story and join me. YouTube, thank you for joining. We're halfway through chapter 1. I was hoping that we could get through all of it, but I love to throw in my 2 cents. This is the essence of reading Reyes, me providing my 2 cents, interjecting, trying to even like dumb it down sometimes and simplify it sometimes, or offer my own journey as a way to understand it better with more clarity. I hope that helps. I hope that assists. And for those of you on Instagram, if you want to catch up, please go to my bio and go follow my YouTube channel. The link is in my bio. It says Reading Reyes YouTube. And I would appreciate it if you subscribe. Thank you so much. Love you guys. I'll be uploading this video. So if you joined a little later, you can go ahead and watch the video. Thank you guys. Peace out. Peace out. I'm going to stop the video on YouTube. And if anybody's on here and wants to talk, I'm down. Let me know. Request. Look at that. Look at that. Would you look at that? Would you look at that? We read for an hour and 11 minutes. What?